Hi, it's Mrs. Hatfield with Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds. I'm going to be talking with you once in a while, and when I do, we're going to be talking about some healthy activities. Let's go ahead and take a look at what some of those things are that we're going to be talking about. We'll be talking about washing our hands, the My Plate, parts of the plant, all about snacks, and healthy lunches. Next, let's take a look at keeping healthy. Let's talk about things in our environments that keep us safe and healthy. Look around the room that you're in right now. What do you see that can help you be healthy? As I look around the room that I'm in, I see things like hand sanitizer and also tissues. You may be in a different room. Maybe you're seeing a sink and some soap. What about where you live? Can you think of some things where you live that keep you healthy and safe? Maybe you have a place to play. So a space outside or a space inside where you can exercise. Is exercise healthy for us? It definitely is. Maybe you're seeing a tub or a shower. Maybe while you're in that bathroom, you're also seeing toothpaste. Now think about school. What can you think of that keeps us healthy and safe at school? What about just the building in general? Does it keep the cold or the hot out and then the right temperature on the inside? It sure does. What about the meals and snacks that you get at school? Are those healthy? They sure are. A playground, again, to get exercise. What about the adults around you? Your teachers, crossing guards, the principal. They all want to keep you safe too. Now let's talk about the community that you live in. Now the community is the area that is around where you live. So what do you see on your way to school? What do you see on the way to the grocery store that can keep you healthy and safe? I kind of gave you a hint on one of those. The grocery store. Can we buy healthy food there and the things we need? We definitely can. What about stoplights? Do those keep us safe? They sure do. But what happens if we get in an accident? Do we have police, firemen, ambulance, a hospital to go to? We sure do. What about doctors, nurses, dentists in your area? They all want to keep us safe. What about me? Why am I talking about this? I also want to keep you healthy and safe. Next, let's talk about washing our hands. First thing we're going to talk about is germs. Go ahead and take a look at your hands. As I look at mine, they look pretty clean, but we know that germs are small and they can hide on any place on our hands. Take a guess. How many germs do you think can be on your hands at one time? It's a big number. It's more than 100. It's more than 500. More than 1,000. How about 5,000? There can be up to 5,000 germs on your hands at one time. Let's talk about when we wash our hands because we want to make sure that we can get those germs off. We wash them before we eat, after using the bathroom, after playing outside, and also if they look or feel dirty. Now that we know when to wash, let's talk about why we wash our hands. And I think that picture down below is giving us a very good hint on our first answer, to wash off dirt. Those are some very dirty hands. To wash off germs, if they feel sticky, to prevent germs from getting into our bodies. Now let's talk about some foods that we eat with our hands. Can you think of any? One that I'm thinking about is an apple. We eat the outside of an apple. Now think about if you pick up that apple and your hand has some dirt on it or some germs. We take a bite of that apple. Is there a chance that that dirt or those germs can get into our body? A chance we can get sick? Yes. Let's look at some other foods that I came up with. How about a sandwich? Apples and peanut butter, grapes, carrots, and a taco. Now let's talk about how we wash our hands. What do you think the first step is? How about we get our hands wet? Go to the sink, turn on the warm water, and get your hands wet. Can you guess what we're going to do next? Next, we add the soap. So put soap on your hands. Think about how long you should be scrubbing, and we'll talk about that in the next slide. Make sure to scrub your hands, fingernails, between your fingers and wrists for 20 seconds. Did you remember that it was 20 seconds? After we scrub, we want to rinse the soap off. So we'll rinse our hands, and then it's going to be time to dry our hands off with a paper towel. In our final step, we're going to turn the faucet off with the paper towel. Remember, we touched that faucet at the beginning with dirty or germy hands. We don't want to touch that faucet again once they're clean. So we want to use that paper towel. Now, let's practice washing our hands. What's our first step? We're going to go ahead and turn the faucet on. So turn your faucet on with me. And we're going to put our hands underneath that water to get them wet. Next, we're going to add soap. So go ahead and add that squirt of soap. And we're going to rub both sides of our hands. We're going to make sure we get in between our fingers, also our fingernails, and we're going to make sure that we scrub all the way down to our wrists. How long do we scrub for? 20 seconds. Remember, you can sing the ABC song to get that 20 seconds in. Then we stick our hands back under the water and we rinse them off. What do we do next? Grab that paper towel and dry them off. Then we're going to take that paper towel and turn off our faucet. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I hope you had a fun time learning about how to keep healthy in our environment and then also the review on washing our hands. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.
Hi, it's Mrs. Hatfield with Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds. Today I'd like to review hand washing with you by getting up and getting moving. But before we do that, I'd like you to take a look at your hands. Do they look dirty? Mine don't, but remember, just because they don't look dirty doesn't mean that there can't be germs on them. Remember, germs are very small and we can't always see them. That's why it's so important to make sure that you are washing your hands before you eat. While we're talking about washing our hands, do you remember how long you should be washing them for? If you remember 20 seconds, you would be correct. Next, I would like to read some sentences to you. When I read those sentences, I'm going to say the word blank. When I say the word blank, I would like you to fill in a word. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Turn on the blank and wet hands. What are we going to be turning on before we wash our hands? The water. Squirt blank onto wet hands. What do we need to squirt on? Soap. Scrub your hands, fingers, nails, and wrists on blank sides. What side of your hands do you need to wash? Both. So we want to make sure we're getting both sides. Do this for at least blank seconds. You know this one, we just talked about it, for 20 seconds. Blank hands with water. So if they're all soapy, we want to make sure that we rinse our hands. Dry hands with a blank towel. What kind of towel are you going to use? You're going to use a clean towel. Now remind me, how long do we wash our hands for? 20 seconds. So I'd like to get up and get moving to get an idea of how long 20 seconds feels. So I'm going to stand up. I would like you to join me and I'll be back in just a second. I hope you found a comfortable spot where you have a little bit of room to move. Let's see what 20 seconds feels like when we're doing physical activity. Go ahead and start marching in place. I'm going to keep track of time. We're going to go for about 20 seconds. See how long it feels like when you're washing your hands. Keep those knees going. Keep those knees up high. So it's been about 20 seconds. Did that feel like a long time? It sure didn't to me. Let's switch it up. So knees go down, arms go up to the side. Go ahead and do some small arm circles. If you want to switch it up, you can always make them bigger. Or switch directions. Go back to small, whatever you want to do. Arms can go down. Now let's pretend like we're climbing up a ladder. So we're going to have one arm and one leg come up together. Climb up that ladder. 20 seconds. Feels good to get up and get moving. Next, let's do some little kicks. So go ahead and kick, just like you're kicking a soccer ball. How long are we going for? 20 seconds. Your feet can go ahead and stand still. Let's use our arms this time. So reach up, 20 seconds. One more to do. Those arms can come down. This time, let's see how high you can get up your knees. How high can you get up? high knees. And your feet can go ahead and stay on the ground. Did 20 seconds feel like a long time? It sure didn't to me. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you had fun getting up and getting moving, and I hope to see you soon. Hi, it's Mrs. Hatfield with Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds. I wanted to read a book with you today, and since we had the recipe watermelon salsa, I thought it might be kind of fun to read a book about salsa. So the title of the book that I would like to read today is called Chicks and Salsa, and it's written by Aaron Reynolds and illustrated by Paulette Bogan. Let's get started. Before I start reading the book, I wanted to point out on most pages there's going to be a mouse with sunglasses on, so you can take a look and try and find him again on most of the pages. He kind of helps to solve some of the problems, so take a look for him. Here we go. There were grumblings in the henhouse of Nutthatcher Farm. The chickens were tired of chicken feed. The rooster took it upon himself to solve this problem. Mrs. Nutthatcher, the farmer's wife, had started watching cooking shows in the afternoons. The rooster was perched on a fence post outside the farmhouse window when he discovered the solution to his problem: salsa. Led by the rooster, the chickens crept into the garden, where they took tomatoes and uprooted onions. That night, the chickens ate chips and salsa, though nobody was quite certain where the chickens got the chips. The tasty tang of tomatoes and onions hung over the barnyard, and the rooster said, "Ole!" Very soon, there were mumblings at the duck pond of Nutthatcher Farm. Inspired by the chickens, the ducks decided they were tired of fish. With the rooster's encouragement, the ducks dipped into the garden, where they selected cilantro and gathered garlic. That night, the ducks ate guacamole, though nobody was quite certain where the ducks got the avocados. The spicy scent of garlic and cilantro hung over the barnyard, and the ducks said, "Ole!" The next morning, there were rumblings in the pig pen of Nutthatcher Farm. Overwhelmed by the enticing aromas, the pigs decided they were tired of slop. While the rooster distracted Farmer Nutthatcher, the pigs plodded into the garden, where they borrowed beans and chopped chiles. That night, the pigs ate nachos, though nobody was quite certain where the pigs got the nacho cheese sauce. The delightful deliciousness of cheese and chiles hung over the barnyard, and the pigs said, "Ole!" As everyone knows, when a passion for Southwestern cuisine takes hold of farm animals, and so many scrumptious, spicy, savory scents collide in the barnyard air, it can only lead to one thing: fiesta. The rooster got things organized, then returned to his fence post to watch for a good enchilada recipe. The horses decorated the barn. The bull practiced his Mexican hat dance, though nobody was quite certain where the bull got the sombrero. And the chickens, ducks, and pigs snuck into the garden. But all of their spicy Southwestern supplies were gone. The scallions had been stolen, the peppers had been pilfered, and the limes had been lifted. But there were slurpings in the kitchen of Nutthatcher Farm. Stirred by the succulent smells in the barnyard, Mrs. Nutthatcher had decided to make tamales for the county fair. A saucy sweetness hung over the farmhouse kitchen, and Mrs. Nutthatcher said, "Ole!" Disappointed, the animals canceled the fiesta. That evening, the chickens ate their chicken feed, the ducks ate their fish, and the pigs ate their slop. But while the Nutthatchers were at the fair, the rooster crept into the kitchen and borrowed a French cookbook. The next morning, the rooster ate crepes with white grapes and champagne sauce, though nobody was quite certain where the rooster learned how to read. A satisfied smile stretched over the rooster's beak, and the rooster said, "Ooh la la." And that is the end of our book, Chicks and Salsa. I hope you enjoyed the book as much as I enjoyed reading it. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hi, it's Mrs. Hatfield with Healthy Bodies, Healthy Minds. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'd like to make a salsa recipe with you. When we make salsa, typically we think of using tomatoes, but this recipe calls for watermelon, and it's called watermelon salsa. As you can see, I have some of the ingredients over on the counter. Let's go take a look. Let's take a look at the ingredients that we need for our watermelon salsa. We're going to need 3 cups of seeded and chopped watermelon, half of a medium onion chopped, half of a red bell pepper chopped, 1 tablespoon of seeded and chopped jalapeno pepper, 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh cilantro, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, and 1 teaspoon of olive oil. I'm gonna get those chopped and ready to go, and I'll be right back. I was able to get everything chopped and ready, so let's put it in our bowl and get it ready to mix. First thing up, we're going to add our watermelon. Next, we'll add our onion. Then our red pepper. Now we have our jalapeno and then also our cilantro. We'll mix those in together. Now it's time for our lime juice. We'll need 2 tablespoons of our lime juice. So I have my tablespoon right here, and I'm going to add 2 of them. And the last thing that we need is our olive oil. And we need 1 teaspoon of our olive oil. So now that we have all the ingredients added, we're gonna mix this up. Look at all those bright, beautiful, bright colors. I can't wait to try this, and I hope you get the opportunity to also make the watermelon salsa. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day.
If you're interested in making this Michigan Harvest of the Month recipe, you can go to mihotm.recipes and search watermelon salsa.